In this next part, I'm going to go ahead and continue the dinosaur and start box modeling the tail. So I'm going to orbit my view around and select the face that's going to start the tail. And I'm just going to be using the perspective view to go ahead and kind of be my eyes. And I'll actually be doing most of the work here in the side view. I just find that it makes rotations a little bit easier. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and extrude. And then I'll go ahead and then press R after I do the extrusion. So it's pretty much pretty repetitive. Just E to extrude, pull the mouse out, and then left click to accept. There is a faster way, and what you can do is you can hold down the control key, and when you hold down the control key you can then left click and it will then follow your mouse. And that's pretty quick. As long as you're moving your mouse fairly away from the origin here, you won't run into any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and undo a couple of steps, and I'm going to add in now scaling. So I'm going to do Control, left click, and then I'll scale a little bit just to start tapering down. And then Control, left click a couple of times, just add in a little scale. And the nice thing about this is that it's actually doing a little bit of the rotation for me with the Control left click, so it can actually be quite intuitive. And I'll put a little bump in his tail just to add a little bit of character there. Okay, so it's a little bit of a longer tail than I anticipated, but I can go ahead and change that. But it might be part of, I might work it into the character's personality a little bit. Maybe it's kind of a younger dinosaur that if I were to go on to animate this, maybe the tail's kind of, kind of flopping around and making it difficult for the dinosaur to move. Okay, so just remember to always check your modeling from all views. Make sure that in the top view, it's looking nice and straight. Side view, it's looking okay. And take care of, fixes when you see them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and before I get into the next part of the video, which is the neck and the head, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of tweaking on the body. The proportions aren't quite right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I want the body to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to switch back to vertex mode or edge mode. You can do either, and I'm going to shift click and I'm going to select all of these edges going around the base. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe drag them down a little bit, just to make the body a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit thicker. There we go, something like that. And I might need to cut it a little bit, but it's looking all right now. I'm then going to go ahead and take these vertices over here, and I'm going to change the color of my dinosaur. It's really hard to see. I'm going to go ahead and make him red for now. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to move these down a little bit just to start to round it out a little bit. And I'm always checking in the top view, so you can see he's still very boxy. I want to round him out a little bit more, so I'm going to switch to vertex mode, and I'm going to select the 4 corners, the 4 vertices. I'm going to go into top view here so you can really see it. I'm going to press S to scale inward, and I'm going to go ahead and scale those inward like that, just a little bit. Okay. Just little tweaks here and there along the way. I'm going to go ahead and now add in a little bend to the knees. So I'm going to use box model, or excuse me, box select. And in my side view, if I go ahead and press B and I box select all the vertices that make up the kneecaps, you'll see that it looks like I've got them here. But if you look at my perspective view, you'll notice that I only have selected these 8 vertices over here. And I can always check up here in the top. Let me go ahead and zoom in. I can always check up here where you can see where it says what I have selected. So if you remember, this is how many verts I have selected out of how many I have total, how many edges I have selected out of total, faces selected out of total. So the reason why I'm only getting these selected here and not going all the way through is because of a feature down here that I need to disable. So if you look at the bottom of your 3D window and you scroll your mouse wheel forwards or backwards, you want to look for this button right here. And again, I'll zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. So this is called limit selection. And you can see that it is turned on. And if I disable it, and now if I box select the kneecaps again, you'll see that it actually went all the way through, and it selected all the vertices going all the way through, and that's exactly what I want. Okay, so now that I've got them selected, I can go ahead and now give a slight bend to the kneecaps. Not too much, not crazy. Just something like that, just to give a little bit more of a relaxed pose there. And I'll go ahead and save. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. Maybe I'll go ahead and put in a slight slight tweak to the front. There we go, something like that. Okay, good. So that's looking all right. There's still many more tweaks to do. Speaking of that, I'll go ahead and just box model, or sorry, just adjust the curve of the tail here. Okay, so that's it for this one. In the next part, I'll go ahead and extrude out the neck and the head. So I will see you there.